With Falcon football coach John O'Grady. And John, the Falcons had their first home game of the season last weekend out at Raymer Field. Lost a 35-14 game to Trine University. I think they were ranked number 17 in the country coming in. Could you talk a little bit about that game? And before we do that, this is we're watching some highlights of special teams play from the Trine game.
Yes, Trine was a team we really didn't know that much about, other than they were in the same league as Hope and Alma, teams that we have played in the last few years. They've won their conference, I think, a couple of years. They looked like they really had some team speed, and in the end, I think that was very apparent, especially with their offensive unit, a quarterback and a couple of their backs. Played them right up, just like we have. Played very well in the first half, and I think they were a bit surprised about it, coming out 14-14. Then we had 2 or 3 drives right away in the second half where we went 3 and out, got them good field position, and just were not really able to do anything very productive the rest of the afternoon. Give them credit; they are a good team, but this week I think we're playing one that's very similar.
John, looking at the players of the week from the Trine game, running back Taylor Edwards was named the offensive player of the week. He had another great game, carried the ball 34 times for 169 yards, had a long run of 19 yards, averaged 5 yards per carry, scored on a 1-yard touchdown run in the first quarter, gave the Falcons a 7-0 lead at the time. Could you talk about Taylor a little bit?
Yeah, he's been tremendously consistent, and we've mentioned before he's really added speed and quickness throughout the off season. He is getting a little bit banged up now. I mean, when you start carrying the ball that much, you know, it's going to take its toll. But I think an indication of their team speed is the fact that his long run was 18 or 19 yards, like you said, and against most other people, he's been able to, you know, pick up longer runs than that. But he's been very consistent. He's nursing a little bit of a thigh injury right now. Hope he's going to be able to go. And but he's been very good to date.
Looking at the special teams, John, Greg Klingelhutz, the junior out of Chanhassen, Minnesota, was named the special teams player of the week. You know, another great job returning kicks and punts for the Falcons. They had 4 kickoff returns for 103 yards, and 1 punt return for 11 yards. He had a 53-yard kickoff return in the second quarter that gave the Falcons the ball at the Trine 38, and that led to a Falcon touchdown that tied the score 14-14 later on. He also, you had mentioned that he made some tackles on special teams. Could you talk about Greg's play?
He's really a fun guy to have because he is our punt return and kickoff return guy. We knew going into this game, based on what we saw of their kickoff team and their coverage, they were really soft in a couple areas. We'd have been very surprised if we weren't able to get a big return or two, and sure enough, it happened, and it did put us in great field position. If the field was in as good a condition as it could have been, but it was still a little bit slick from the rain. He slipped as he went through, and had he not slipped, I think he would have brought it all the way back for a touch. But he's as important to me on kickoff coverage because we don't have Drake Klatt now, who's our great kickoff guy, so we're not kicking the ball as deep, and Greg is really using his speed to get down the field and, you know, stop people before they're getting the ball out to the 40, which is hard to do nowadays. So he's really an all-round guy who, because of his speed and willingness to play physically, is really he's one of the better special teams players I think I've had over the years.
Memory serves, John, I think Greg's had a kickoff return as a freshman, as a sophomore, one in each of his seasons, get another one in his junior year, and he'll have the hat trick going here.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's one of my goals, is to get him, you know, another one this year. And I don't know what the school or conference record is. I really don't know. But for a guy to have 2 in his career is an awful lot. We came so close Saturday to getting it, and I think we'll have some other opportunities throughout the year. He's very good at it. If you give him a hole, he's not a real elusive guy, but he's a burst guy. He gets through a hole, you know, he's hard to catch.
We'll look forward to that. John, looking ahead, the Falcons open up WIAC play this weekend. Again at Raymer Field, 2 o'clock game with UW-Oshkosh coming to town. Tell us what you know about the Titans.
Well, they've played as tough a schedule as us, except I think they've only played 2 games. They played Mount Union. I've looked at that film. They've played, that game was a home game for them. They've played Central Iowa, a team from our past. It was a very good physical team. They've lost both of those games, but they scored, I think, 28 points against Mountain Union. That's hard. I don't know how many people do that. And Central, they were right in the ball game with Central when that game was on the road for them. There's Klingelhutz right there on a return. So, they're a very, very, very good team. They're a shotgun team, no huddle. They can change the tempo. They can slow it up. They can speed it up like we used to do in the Wishbone era. Their quarterback now is a sophomore, one of the Warrer brothers, and is very effective at what he does. They will line up in a formation. They will go through a cadence. They won't do anything. They'll look at the sideline. The coaches will signal in whether they want to change the play or not. So they are constantly keeping you on your toes. Defensively, Coach Cerrone has been, their head coach has been running their defense for years, and he has developed one of the top-notch defenses in the league. They played multiple fronts. We were able to run the ball well last year and really turned it on late in the game to, get close in that one. But again, I think special teams will be a big factor, and they're an all-around very good team. He is so close to becoming in the top, 3 or 4 in our league right now, and maybe this will be their year.
John, good luck to the Falcons this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Yep, thank you.